Hurricane season is upon us. And what if it happens again?
Hurricane season 2023 is here.
I can't go through it again.
Hurricanes will happen again.
If you ask how much it did to me, it did a lot. It did a lot.
Ian and Nicole devastated so many.
This was our whole life. We planned to retire here.
We have to leave. We can't stay.
But the next storm won't wait.
Know what you're going to do and where you're going to go. Make a plan and stay informed.
So the time to get ready is now.
Don't worry about how many disasters it's going to be, how many hurricanes are predicted, because we saw in Hurricane Ian, it only takes one.
Good evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells. This is a special edition of News 6 at 7, so you can get ready and get results. Because hurricane season 2023 is off to an active start. Tropical depression number 2 formed late this afternoon out in the Gulf, spotted by hurricane hunters flying their first mission of the year. This one won't be a threat to us. It's headed towards Cuba, but it may strengthen into a tropical storm. If it gets a name, that name would be Arlene. But this year's first named storm will actually be the second storm of 2023. Thanks to new technology, we now know a small subtropical storm actually formed in January. NOAA is forecasting 12 to 17 named storms, 5 to 9 of those becoming hurricanes, and 1 to 4 strengthening to major storm status. That's lower than last year. I'll show you why in minutes. Our entire pinpoint accurate weather team has come together tonight. While many of you think you know how to prepare, new people move to Central Florida all the time, and everyone has to be ready for hurricane season. Our message, don't panic, but do prepare.
Yeah, Tom, preparing means shopping before for the right supplies. How much water do you really need? More than you may think. I'm meteorologist Troy Bridges. After helping with your hurricane kit, I'll show you how power crews get the lights back on and how social media can keep you informed.
But you have to know where to look. A meteorologist, Jonathan Kagis, will show you the new way I'm keeping News 6 viewers informed. Well, thunderstorms and even hurricanes hit on YouTube, on clickorlando.com, and our News 6 Plus streaming app.
Is your house ready to stand up to a storm? What you can do right now to make sure? I turn to a home pro. He shows us what gets results. I'm meteorologist Julie Broughton.
Plus, how to run a generator safely after a storm. I'm meteorologist Samara Kokinis.
And I'm meteorologist Candace Campos with another potential lifesaver, turning your bathroom into a safe room. And later, new cutting-edge drone technology is sailing into storms. How that can get results this season.
If you hear us warn of catastrophic, life-threatening, or generational damage, think of Hurricane Ian. It wiped parts of the Gulf Coast off the map, soaked Central Florida with record-breaking flooding, and took 150 American lives. And before you dismiss a storm that's just a Category 1, think of Hurricane Nicole, sending homes and condos crumbling into the ocean, $500 million in damage in Volusia County alone. It only takes one storm to change your life. Last year, we lived through 2. So what about this hurricane season? I asked one of the top experts, Dr. Phil Klotzbach of Colorado State University. Because when I say we're going to get catastrophic, generational type damage, I think people now understand what I'm talking about.
Florida had a great streak of luck, went an entire decade with no landfalling hurricanes from 2006 to 2015. So we're talking about hurricane amnesia and people not being ready. And obviously, when you've had kind of this generational kind of storm, especially in Southwest Florida, it's, you want to be prepared for the upcoming season. Basically, you want to be prepared the same for every hurricane season.
But go ahead and address it. What is your forecast for the upcoming season?
So we're calling for a slightly below normal hurricane season, a total of 13 named storms. Of those 13, 6 becoming hurricanes, and of those 6, 2 becoming major Category 3, 4, 5 hurricanes. Those are hurricanes with winds of 111 miles per hour or greater.
So the reason it's just below normal is that everybody and their brother believes El Nino's coming back. the Pacific waters around the equatorial region are already warming. Is that one of the main reasons that you dialed it down just a smidge?
We do expect El Nino this summer and fall. NOAA gives currently a 93% chance for August through October, which are climatologically the peak 3 months of the Atlantic hurricane season. About 90% of your storms occur during August to October. Now, when you have El Nino, that is warmer than normal water in the central and eastern tropical Pacific Ocean. When that occurs, it tends to increase winds high up in the atmosphere, 20, 30,000 feet, that tear apart hurricanes as they're trying to develop and to intensify. So in general, when it comes to hurricanes, El Nino is our friend.
But the other caveat is the ocean is so stinking warm right now. It's kind of an offset. Who's going to win that battle?
And hurricanes live off of that warm ocean water. So that's kind of the big thing. Like normally when you see, potentially we could have a moderate to even strong El Nino this summer and fall. Mm-hmm. Normally, if that's the case, you forecast a really, really below average season. But given how warm the Atlantic is, that's not for sure.
Ian and Nicole taught us all. A storm can bring devastating impacts from where it makes landfall. I asked Volusia County Emergency Management Director what lessons they learned from 2022.
Been through a lot of hurricanes, never saw anything like it.
Ian caused record flooding on the St. Johns, and Nicole brought never-before-seen coastal damage in Volusia County. And Volusia wasn't even in the cone. This is the time to pretty much throw the cone out.
There are so many things you've got to look at.
Volusia Emergency Management Director Jim Judge calls that proof the cone isn't all we need to watch.
What is going to be the rainfall? Is this going to be a rain event for us as well as a coastal event?
While Nicole was nowhere near the powerhouse that Ian was, its enormous size made it clear there would be devastating impacts far from the storm's center.
With the full moon, high tides, the potential for the wave heights, we knew it was going to be bad, and so we messaged that, and that's when we went early on to a mandatory evacuation.
Nicole became the first hurricane to hit the U.S. in November in nearly 40 years. The worst damage happened here, nearly 150 miles north of where the storm made landfall on Hutchinson Island. Judge says that's why his team takes every storm seriously, and you should too.
We're always going to err on the side of safety, and that's always, you can't go wrong by erring on the side of safety and making sure that you're taking all the necessary precautions, that you are communicating, because we'll lay awake all night thinking of anything we missed.
I was at a house at 303 Post.
So the house is flooding?
Yeah.
We brought you their story live during Hurricane Ian. 8 months later, they're still without a home. News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden met the family during the storm. Tonight, they still need help from FEMA, but they have hit a big snag.
You said there are houses filling up?
Filling up. My car is underwater.
Can you tell us exactly where so we can try to get some help there?
Poinciana Circle.
Poinciana Circle? This was Eddie Davis and his mother escaping their house after it flooded during Hurricane Ian.
I was at a house at 303 Poinciana Circle.
So the house is flooding?
Yeah.
We quickly found out it wasn't the only house. Davis and his mother were the first of many families to get out fast, including this family with a small child who put their belongings in trash bags. We're with Channel 6 News. Are you guys okay?
My house? Water everywhere.
News 6 called 911, and when the storm subsided, deputies rescued other families who were trapped in their homes with airboats. 7 months later.
It's been a rough last 7 months. I've been bouncing around, just working and bouncing around different hotels, family members, different, my friend let me stay here for a little while.
Davis, along with his mother and brother, have all been living in this studio apartment for the last several days.
It's just been crazy, I lost my cars and the house and everything.
When Ian hit, Davis and his family were sharing a home on Poinciana Drive with another tenant. Davis says the lease was in that tenant's name and it has impacted them getting help from FEMA.
I've just been waiting on them to help me and they haven't.
He has submitted multiple applications to FEMA that he says have all been denied. The main reason, FEMA says they have not provided proper documentation to prove that the damaged home was where they lived for a major portion of the calendar year. Davis says he has submitted it.
They just still keep saying that they need to have proof of residency.
The family says they also lost their car in the storm because the engine was waterlogged. This is video taken during the storm inside a home on Poinciana Drive across the street from where Davis lived. We met April Higbee during the storm too and checked back in with her in December. Her house was finally coming together.
Has that been frustrating?
It's a little frustrating, but we're
we're alive, right? We got to stay positive, stay focused.
Davis says he is trying his best to stay positive, but it's difficult.
What has this storm done to your life? If you ask how much it did to me, it did a lot. It did a lot.
Louis Bolden, News 6.
Every hurricane season, we're told, make sure your home is ready to survive a storm. But what does that mean? I asked a construction expert to walk me through what really gets results.
When Charlie came around and Irma came around, we had hundreds of phone calls 2 days before the storm. Please help us board up our windows. And
Brian Farr from BFAR Contracting says his biggest tip when getting ready for hurricane season is don't procrastinate. That means taking a look around the outside of your home to assess what can be taken care of right now, like trimming your trees and making sure you know how to protect the most vulnerable areas of your home, like windows.
impact windows are 3 times as expensive, so they don't come with them standard. It's an upgrade. It's a nice upgrade, but don't expect to have them.
Farr recommends keeping plywood on hand. You have a few options when it comes to the size. You can take a larger piece and attach it with Tapcon anchors, or
if you cut a piece of plywood the exact size of the window and you take off a 1/4 inch on the side and a 1/4 inch on the top, what you're left with is an 1/8 inch all the way around.
If you go that route, you can attach it with these Plylocks clips that don't require any tools or leave holes. And consider taking photos and documenting your home's condition right now. These pre-loss condition pictures can come in handy if you sustain storm damage. Make sure to include your roof, shingles, gutters, and soffit panels.
A little bit of damage on the screen. We want to document that.
Don't forget the windows, AC, and any cracks in the concrete near the pool.
So if you just moved here a year ago, then the damage could be claimed that it was from 2 years ago and you have no coverage. So having these photos beforehand are super important.
When Hurricane Andrew devastated South Florida 31 years ago, my childhood home was destroyed. I owe my life to the tiny half bathroom my family used to ride out that Category 5 hurricane. Now, preparing a safe room is not hard, and you can even get the little ones involved. When picking out a safe room, find a room with the least amount of windows. That could be a room or a closet. In our case, it's this small bathroom. Before a storm, I like to convert this linen closet into a hurricane supply headquarters. So in case you have to run in here during the storm, you have everything you need in one spot. Some of my supplies include plenty of water for everyone. A few jugs could also be useful in case the water is shut off and you need to wash your hands or flush the toilet. Have a cooler to keep things like medications cold. A battery-operated fan to help circulate the air. And make sure to have a light source for each person, like flashlights or lantern to light up the room. And with many things battery operated, make sure you have enough of the correct batteries. Staying up to date is key during a storm, so be sure to have multiple forms of communication. This includes a radio, a charged cell phone, and a weather radio. Now, one of my must-haves in a safe room is resealable plastic bags. You can use them for many things. You can seal important documents and IDs that you don't want to get wet. Other things like keys and your cell phone, or even things that smell a little bit like dirty diapers. Don't forget a complete first aid kit, assorted snacks, bug repellent, and baby wipes. Now remember, you could be in this room for hours. So make sure you pick things to keep you comfortable. That can include maybe a beach towel, a yoga mat, and some pillows. Speaking of comfort, make sure to get the whole family involved in preparing your safe room, including the kids. Have them pick out a special item to have in there. This could be a special toy, a game, or even an iPad, because these small comforts can also help ease any anxiety they might have during a storm.
When a storm's moving in, many of you need to get out. That means knowing where to go.
Trooper Steve shows how to evacuate and what to take with you when News 6 at 7 continues. Also, generators can save lives after a storm, but they can take them too. I asked an expert to show how to run one safely.
You need to put together a hurricane kit to survive a storm. Next, I'll take you shopping so you know what you really need. When preparing for hurricane season, one of the first places to go is the grocery store. Here's the deal. You have to be prepared to live without electricity for at least 2 weeks. For me, food comes to mind first. Think non-perishable food items, things that don't require refrigeration or heating up to eat. One of my faves, peanut butter. Try to get things the kids will actually want to eat. This one, even easy to open without electricity. And don't forget the pets, they also need 2 weeks of food in case we're stuck in the house. But there's one thing even more important than food, and that's water. Water is essential. We can't live without it. In fact, take a look at this. This is the amount of water one person needs for 2 weeks. And it's a good idea to pick up all the items you need for a first aid kit. One of the most important items is antibiotic cream. And don't forget to pick up all your prescriptions well in advance. The Red Cross recommends that you have at least 2 weeks of prescription medications on hand for you and for the rest of your family. Most of what you need for a good hurricane kit is what you'd pack to go camping. And if the power goes out, you and your family will need a few of these to get around. Think of coolers, insect repellent, and even those blue tarps. To help beat the heat when the electricity goes out, battery-powered fans and air conditioners come in handy. Of course, you don't want to forget the batteries. Just before a hurricane hits, these are flying off the shelves. That's why now is the time to buy gas cans. But one of the most important things you need to be prepared before the storm hits is a weather radio. This little device can be a lifesaver. A weather radio will sound an alert and give life-saving information when there's an emergency near you. And the biggest takeaway, don't forget the water. You need at least 1 gallon per person per day. That's 5 gallons for a family of 5. And you need a week's worth. Now, we've put a shopping list on clickorlando.com/hurricane. That's also where to learn which items are currently covered by a sales tax holiday. It runs through June 19th.
Great stuff, Troy. Thank you. When danger is coming close, the most important message you can hear is, get out. It is not worth your life to stay. Traffic safety expert Trooper Steve shows us the right way to evacuate.
By the time you hear the word evacuate, let's be real, right? Things are getting pretty serious. So know what zone you live in and your best evacuation route ahead of time. The Florida Division of Emergency Management has made it easy with this interactive map. Check this out. Plug in your address. It will tell you what zone you live in. Zones are alphabetical from A to E. Zone A means you're probably the first ordered out of your specific county. Once you know your zone, click to find the best evacuation route that works for you. Plan where you're going to go before you leave the house. A relative or a best friend, or any friend, right, is always a better option. Emergency shelters should be your last resort. Now, to find this map, what we need you to do is scan this QR code right here with your smartphone and follow the link. Or look inside the story over at clickorlando.com/hurricane. Evacuating will disrupt your lives. We know this, but the county and the local leaders who make those calls don't take it lightly. These meetings are no fun.
I know it's not easy, and especially when you're talking about large metropolitan areas, we're talking about moving a lot of people, and there's actually risk in evacuations themselves, making sure people can get out before the first hazard arrives.
There are two types of evacuation orders, voluntary and mandatory. Mandatory meaning just that. It's time to get out. But here's a list of things that you should probably take with you. When I'm talking about important documents like birth certificates, passports, driver's licenses, medical records, photos of everyone that is traveling with you, make sure you've got some extra cash also. Take your prescriptions, and of course, a first aid kit is an absolute must. You'll need some spare clothing and hygiene products for at least a week, if not maybe a little bit more. If you're traveling with kids, important stuff here: games, busy work, stuff to keep them distracted, extra batteries, snacks, and water. Also, don't forget to pack that pet food and snacks if they're going to be going with you. Find a safe place for pets if they're not. Don't forget pillows and blankets and, of course, gasoline. Make sure you pack specifically for the people that are traveling with you, and most importantly, drive safe. I'm Trooper Steve, getting results, News 6.
After a storm, generators can get results until the power's back, but 41 Floridians suffered carbon monoxide poisoning after Ian. At least 10 died. Fortunately, a few simple rules can keep your family safe.
Unfortunately, often when we get the call, it's often too late.
430 people die in the U.S. every year from accidental carbon monoxide poisoning. 50,000 end up in the ER. The invisible odorless gas often goes undetected until you're overwhelmed by symptoms like dizziness and headaches. So make sure your home has carbon monoxide detectors. Test them regularly and know where and how to run a generator safely.
So we have a new acronym. It's OAD, and that means outside, away, and dry. What that means is we want people to make sure they keep their generators away from their home, at least 10 feet, away from any windows, doors, vents that can prevent the carbon monoxide from entering their home.
Well, as long as you're doing it, being safe about it, they're great to use.
Generator specialist Dusty Herbert says you have to know the rules.
It's not okay to put it near windows.
No, ma'am. The wind can blow the exhaust back in the garage. You want to keep it outside. You want to keep it away from the building. You want to make sure you shut it off before you try to fuel it. Make sure you got the right size extension cords before you start powering. These little tiny orange cords and little brown cords you get from Home Depot are not what you're supposed to be using. You're going to end up catching your house on fire if you're not careful.
Keep the lines and generator dry and make sure the generator remains grounded or someone could get electrocuted.
The other thing is some people will try to hook up a generator directly to their home electricity, their power. This should not be done without having a licensed electrician.
Otherwise, improper hookups could injure or kill power crews or damage your home. Many carbon monoxide survivors wrongly put generators in garages or on porches, fearing they'd be stolen. Chief Avery says it's not worth your life.
Buy a good chain or padlock and secure it to something out, 10 feet away from their home.
Hurricane hunters bravely fly into storms, gathering crucial forecasting data. But there's one place still too dangerous for humans: how sail drones are now getting results at the surface of the storm. There is a crucial layer within a hurricane that's just above the surface of the ocean that could hold the key to better forecasting and understanding storms. But it's just too dangerous to reach for humans. So now drones are going in and getting results. Where the storm meets the ocean is called the boundary layer, one of the most important areas in shaping a hurricane.
The energy source for hurricanes, the heat energy from the ocean is transferred into the atmosphere in that boundary layer, and that fuels hurricane intensification.
But it's also the zone least understood due to its danger to human life.
There are large waves crashing, strong winds, lots of sea sprays.
Now that's changing thanks to these sail drones.
We outfit them with a very advanced set of sensors.
These uncrewed sailboats, powered by wind and solar energy, are exploring areas never seen before.
The data goes in real time into forecast centers. From there, it can improve the initial conditions and hopefully improve the prediction of hurricane intensity in these models.
Along with that data, videos like this are sent in real time, showing those extreme conditions.
We'll get instructions from NOAA about how to move the vehicles, where to move the vehicles to try to best position them to be more or less in the path of those storms.
That partnership between NOAA and Sail Drone is already getting results, intercepting two major hurricanes, Sam in 2021 and Fiona last year.
Being able to see what's happening and then analyze the data and actually figure out how the ocean and hurricanes interact.
And this season, 12 sail drones will be staged throughout the Atlantic, the Gulf, and the Caribbean, with one on standby in St. Petersburg to rapidly deploy ahead of a landfalling storm. Well, after Hurricane Matthew devastated the Panhandle, one home was still standing and inspired a Florida woman to get results. Later, how she's building homes that can handle a Cat 5.
So we want to build these kits so they kind of know what to do and they're not scared.
Girl Scouts getting results, building kits for classmates who moved here after Ian and Nicole.
The water was up to here. We had to rip out all the walls.
I honestly didn't think you'd be able to call this home last time we were here.
It's been rough.
Rebuilding again, flood after flood. That weary couple needs results. What could keep it from happening again? Also,
I think it's going to be a little bit more scary this time.
talking to kids how to reassure young people who just made it through Ian and Nicole. Welcome back to hurricane season 2023, Getting Results. I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells. If you needed proof that we need to get ready, hurricane season starts with Tropical Depression number 2. It formed late this afternoon in the Gulf of Mexico. It may or may not strengthen to a tropical storm. If it gets a name, that name will be Arlene. It will end up being a rainmaker for Cuba, but this one is not headed our way. Many local families are gearing up for the hurricane season while still recovering from the worst of Ian and Nicole. News 6 investigator Eric Sandoval is working to get results with one family in Ormond Beach.
Just hours after Hurricane Ian hit last year,
this is our guest room. Our grandchild used to come here.
Bruce and Lisa Chiarizzi showed us around the inside of their Ormond Beach home. The swollen Tomoka River, just a couple houses down, flooded everything, including their pool with 3 feet of water.
This was our whole life. We planned to retire here.
7 months later, things have changed.
I honestly didn't think you'd be able to call this home last time we were here.
It's been rough, and we did it basically 90% of it by ourselves, correct?
I did it all. We did it all by ourselves.
The water was up to here. We had to rip out all the walls and replace the sheetrock and everything. This whole area was gutted. There was a kayak floating in my living room, if you remember.
And this wasn't the first time. This video shows their home back in 2017 when Hurricane Irma flooded it. The lesson learned then:
get the flood insurance.
The couple applied for help from FEMA twice to elevate their home on stilts, which would avoid future flooding. And both times, they were denied.
So instead of asking to elevate your home this time, you guys said, you're done.
We're done. We're asking for demolition and acquisition, where the county will actually purchase our home and turn it into a watershed area in perpetuity.
News 6 investigated, and we found out Volusia County received 9 applications after last year's storms to either elevate or purchase properties to avoid more flooding. They selected 3 elevation projects to move forward to the Florida Department of Emergency Management and FEMA for consideration. 2 of those are in the Stone Island area near Deltona, which saw a lot of flooding last fall. The Chiarizzi's home was the only project selected for possible acquisition. News they didn't know about until we told them.
I love this house. This is, I watch my grandbaby here every day. This is our forever home. But we have to leave. We can't stay.
Images of catastrophic flooding, damaged homes, and devastated beaches filled our newscasts as we covered the impacts of Hurricanes Ian and Nicole. Those images and memories of the storms have a lingering impact on children, especially with so many families still rebuilding.
I think it's going to be a little bit more scary this time.
Dr. Ellie Hessel is a pediatric psychologist with Nemours Children's Health.
Some of the concerns that might have just been more theoretical for kids last time around are going to feel a lot more real and a lot more scary. Some of them might remember some of the things they heard during the storm, the loud wind, sounds of branches snapping, or remember being without power for a little while.
I asked Dr. Hessel, when is the best time to talk to your child about hurricane season?
I think every family and every kid is a little bit different, so there's not always one right answer, but I know that here in Florida, we have times of the year where we can buy hurricane gear tax-free, for example, and so that's a great opportunity to talk with our kids about, hey, right now everything's safe, there's nothing to worry about, but sometimes storms happen, and so we're going to buy these batteries and we're going to get this wind-up radio or whatever it is that your family gets, so that when something happens or if something happens, we're safe and we're ready.
When a storm appears imminent, Hessel advises involving children in things like making hurricane kits, asking what they know, how they feel, and if they're feeling nervous or scared.
It's okay to be scared. I'm scared sometimes too, and instead help our kids know what to do with that scared feeling. So some of that is something like, when I feel scared, these are the things I do to make myself feel better. I take a deep breath, or I remind myself of all of the plans that we have in case there's a hurricane.
And when a storm is heading our way, some of you like to look at the spaghetti models. Others focus only on the forecast cone. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas is here to explain why that's a mistake and how the cone can help your family prepare.
The cone is one of the most synonymous things when it comes to hurricane season, but how should you react if you are in or around the cone? First things first, the cone is just the forecast for where the center of the storm could track. Impacts are always felt way outside the cone. All right, the cone again, a 5-day forecast. So beyond the cone, 6+ days, you see those spaghetti models all over the place. Again, don't put too much stock in them. It is too soon for decisions, but make sure that you are paying close attention to your expert meteorologist. 5 days out from a potential landfall, you are now in or around the cone. Remember, there's still a lot of uncertainty as to where the center could track. 410 miles of error there. But remember, you still want to start to get in the back of your mind things that need to get done. You might want to call your pharmacy, for instance, and get your prescriptions filled, just in case you need to put your action plan into place. 4 days out, and you want to identify outcomes here, as we still have a 290-mile margin for error for where the center could go. Day 3, 3 days out from landfall. Preparations for potential impacts need to be underway. There is still a lot of uncertainty here, still a 200-mile margin for error, but things are becoming a little more clear, and those preparations need to be underway. 2 days out from a potential landfall, this is deadline day. You need to have all your preparations done by this time because the weather is going to start to deteriorate. Still a little bit of error for where the worst of the storm is going to be, but remember, impacts are far-reaching. About a day from landfall, still wobbles can happen to where that eye wall, the most intense part of the storm, could go. But remember, everything needs to be done by this point, as the weather is going to start to go downhill really, really fast. We have a complete rundown of how you should react if you are in or around the cone this hurricane season on clickorlando.com.
Close to 3 million Florida families and businesses lost power after Hurricane Ian alone, but almost 2 million had the lights back on within 48 hours because the power companies were ready to get results. Long before landfall, tens of thousands of linemen and other essential crews rolled in from hurricane-hit areas like Louisiana and the Carolinas, as far away as Canada and California, staged in areas so they can get to work as soon as it's safe.
And certainly during a hurricane, it kind of looks like the stock exchange in here.
This is the nerve center of OUC. Dispatchers closely monitor radar minute by minute, while tracking every outage, directing crews in the field to trouble spots.
The first step after a major hurricane is really assessing the damage. So we have trained assessors that will go out into the field, get eyes on the situation, figure out where the biggest problems are.
OUC has a video explaining how it works. First, crews repair major infrastructure, so power plants, main transmission lines, and substations can transmit electricity. The next priority, critical public facilities like hospitals, police, and fire stations. Step 3, distribution lines and secondary lines that power neighborhoods. Finally, crews can get results for individual homes and businesses that are still out.
You know, stuff like natural disasters like that, I mean, it just takes time. I mean, you got to be patient. Everybody's doing everything they can out there, you know, to get the power restored.
Many are asking, what role does climate change play in hurricane season? Are storms growing stronger, more frequent? News 6 is committed to what we call forecasting change. So I asked some of the top minds in hurricane research.
Here's the bottom line of what's happening. If the globe is warming, and it is, it's going to retain more moisture, right? It's going to hold it better. And then a hurricane's going to come and extract it all, so it means it's going to rain. It's going to rain harder in future hurricanes. You also don't need me to tell you that the sea level is rising. You can see it. We can all see it. We go to the coastline's changing. Sea level is rising. That is a higher base or foundation upon which future hurricanes will have to push storm surge. So the storm surge will be deeper and go farther inland. So whether the numbers are increasing or not, storms that are forming are packing a bigger punch.
So basically maybe more of these high-end category 4 or 5 hurricanes, maybe storms also intensifying
a little bit faster, kind of these rapid intensification events that we've observed in recent years. There's a lot of discussion and debate. Are storms moving slower? Some say yes, some say no. Obviously, if storms move slower, then if you have slow moving storms like Hurricane Ian, obviously we saw tremendous amounts of rainfall from that storm. Obviously, Central Florida saw a lot of really catastrophic flooding from Hurricane Ian.
90% of fatalities in these tropical systems comes from the water. So what's going to happen in the future with a warmer climate? Well, one, your sea level is going to come up. So, you talk about these hurricanes that produce storm surge, you can see not just higher amounts of storm surge, but further inland. So further in your rivers and further inland associated with that storm surge. The other part is the rainfall. It's pure physics. A warmer atmosphere can hold more moisture. So the rainfall rates, we're seeing an increase in some of those rainfall rates.
Hurricane impacts will get worse along the coastline simply because of more surge. So we have to prepare for that, and many cities are. I'm from New York. They're preparing, especially after Sandy. They're building better seawalls. Houston's doing it, Miami's doing it. So, there's a lot occurring in a lot of the major metropolitan areas that are vulnerable to this, which is great to see.
With insurance costs skyrocketing, many people wonder how homes can be better to stand up to those storms.
And one Florida woman may have that answer. What inspired her to start building homes sturdy enough to still be standing after a Cat 5?
Plus, social media is a great way to keep up with storms on the go. If you know who's reliable, in minutes, the new way News 6 is streaming forecasts in real time.
It'll make them feel comfortable because they have all the supplies they need. Because we like helping the world and helping people.
Girl Scouts getting results, how they're helping nervous classmates who've just moved into town. After seeing the damage left behind by Ian and Nicole, many people want homes that are hurricane resistant. Well, I met one woman who is using a material that can withstand a Category 5 storm, all inspired by a single home that survived Hurricane Michael.
Custom luxury homes, multifamily, there are hospitals, there's sports arenas in Italy made out of this.
Entire structures built using polystyrene. Now it has the look and feel of styrofoam, but with a lot more to it.
So our panels are a polystyrene core with double galvanized steel mesh on the outside and then finished with 2 inches of concrete on either side.
For Annette Rubin, CEO and co-founder of Vero Building Systems, bringing this innovative technology to Florida all started during Hurricane Michael.
It was feeling afraid for my kids and for my family and not knowing if my home was safe enough.
And now, 5 years later, the first model home is being built at their Kissimmee warehouse. Compared to wood and concrete, these large and lightweight panels can be much faster and a more efficient way to build from the ground up.
So all the concrete cures at the same time, and it is one structure instead of a 2x4, a 2x4, a 2x4, and then drywall on the outside. Instead of many different pieces, it's one large piece that can stand alone.
And stand up to major hurricanes, like a now famous home on Mexico Beach.
So that was a big thing for me after Michael. That was all over the news, that there's one home. Everything else was completely flattened. There's one home that made it.
Inspiring Annette to help other families and communities be as resilient with the next storm.
Florida is an incredible place to live, and I would never want somebody to move down here and then have to be traumatized by not knowing if their kids are going to make it through the night, not knowing whether your home is safe.
At News 6, we'll keep you informed of potential danger on air on clickorlando.com and our News 6 Plus streaming app. We're also focusing on YouTube and social media. The National Hurricane Center is too.
What we found is that people really like the Facebook Lives that we conduct because it gives people a look of what's actually going on in the center during a storm.
Do you think that really resonates to evacuate or do what they need to do to be prepared?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I hope that by them seeing us putting so much effort and sweat into the forecast that they do take it seriously.
Tell me how it's evolved.
Way back, decades ago, all text products. Just whatever we typed and wrote, that's all people got. Now it's a lot more graphics, and graphics are good because you actually can put them on social media.
The info that you guys get out on, whether it be Twitter or whatever, is instant. It's the same info we're getting in our weather systems.
When we hit the button to send out our products on our system, we already have it linked up to Twitter, and the headline that's in our public advisory gets tweeted out with the link immediately.
What are people more likely to interact with or retweet? Or
honestly, the tweets that get the most reaction are the kind of really cool gee whiz tweets. If we post things on satellite image of a storm or the hurricane hunters flying through the eye of the storm, I think that's what generates the interest.
Is there one person who actually sends the tweet?
The automated tweets, nobody even touches it. Once we send the button to send our actual advisory, the tweet goes out automatically. But there are manual tweets that we do as well.
People were in the past able to email you guys on some level, but now you really do have a direct channel to the people.
Twitter sometimes will get responses back, questions about the storm, and it's hard because we're so busy with everything else that we just don't have somebody dedicated to watch all that and respond. We try.
Is there a little fear of, are we headed in a direction where people aren't going to get the information that they need?
As big as social media is, it's not the end-all be-all. So find your trusted source, whether it's you on TV or radio you listen to, or the Hurricane Center website, Weather Service website. Have somebody, it doesn't matter whom, just somebody that you can turn to actually find the latest forecast information.
At News 6, we know you're looking for information when and where it's convenient for you.
That is why I will now be moving to a new role as our streaming meteorologist. In that live forum, we'll be able to interact and you can get your weather questions answered in real time. To join in, subscribe to our News 6 YouTube channel, download the Pinpoint weather and hurricane apps, and don't forget the News 6 Plus Smart TV app. We'll be right back.
Get insider access on hurricane season 2023 from the most experienced team in Central Florida. Live and candid, they're answering your questions and sharing behind-the-scenes stories from the 2022 season. Tonight at 8 p.m. only on clickorlando.com/insider.
And that's the message of a determined group of Girl Scouts. They say getting ready for hurricane season is getting results. And they said they basically they found a need and they went to work, and I got to help out along the way.
Little hands coming together to get results. Packing up hurricane supply kits, finishing a project months in the making.
We're in our 5th month now of planning, and this is finally the execution of everything.
Dreamed up after Hurricane Ian.
A lot of my kids in my class were new to Florida, and they really didn't know what to do, so they were kind of freaking out.
While these 10 Girl Scouts were already hurricane veterans.
You went through a hurricane, right?
I've gone through in my life 3.
They remembered facing their first storm.
There was a blackout too, and that lasted for a day or two, and that was a little scary.
And no new kids get scared every year.
So we want to build these kits so they kind of know what to do and they're not scared. It'll make them feel comfortable because they have all the supplies they need. Maybe if they thought, what if I don't have all the supplies I need? Well, now you do.
All because Troop 2059 identified a need.
So the target audience is new families to Florida with kids in elementary school.
Reached out for help.
These girls did research. They researched hurricane facts. They visited with you at the news station to learn even more as our subject matter expert.
Then put their mission into motion.
Just seeing them grow, watching them approach businesses, asking for donations.
Developing new skills along the way.
It was kind of scary to talk to people. And I thought we weren't going to get that much supplies, but obviously we got a lot. There are a lot of things you might want in general, not just for a hurricane, coloring supplies and stuffed animals.
What's some of your favorite items that are in these preparedness kits?
Probably the stress balls and the poppets.
The stress balls? Really?
The troop doesn't want kids to stress, but does want parents to get them involved early.
They need to be really good role models for when they grow up and when they have kids, so they can be the role models.
Yeah, so they know how to make a kit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know how to put together a kit now?
Yeah, and get some flashlights, because you'll need those.
Girl Scouts is all about that progression throughout the years as becoming leaders, and I see it. It's happening now.
So do you guys want to do this again?
Yeah.
Why?
Because we like helping the world and helping people.
All right, we'd like to introduce the newest member of our News 6 Pinpoint Weather team. Meteorologist Michelle Morgan joined us this week. She's from here, grew up right over there, just outside of Claremont.
That's right.
All right, you can get to know more about her and all of us online in just a few minutes.
Join us all at 8 for the News 6 After Hours Hurricane Special. You can find it on clickorlando.com and for free on the News 6 Plus streaming app.
Remember, the bottom line, Do prepare. Do not panic. From the entire team,